When Corporal Jonah Brandt signed up for the Interstellar Wild Zones Recon Unit, he expected harsh conditions, weird local fauna, and maybe the occasional alien shootout. What he didn't expect was a feral mating crisis involving a towering, furred Beastwoman warrior who thought biting someone's tail was just the start of a deadly ritual. Planet Korgofor was a Class D4 jungle planet. The flora grew in wild, unchecked layers. The fauna, aggressive, territorial, and frequently radioactive. It had only recently been tagged for colonization when an entire scouting team vanished. Jonah's unit had been dispatched for a standard retrieval, or so they were told. The first few days were routine. Set up a perimeter. Avoid the purple trees that oozed acid when shaken. Don't touch the lizard birds. Standard stuff. But everything changed when Jonah stumbled into an alien pit trap while scouting alone, tumbling several meters into an earthy cavern. When he lit his wrist torch, he found himself face to face with what looked like a predator made of war and fur. She was 7 feet tall, with dark violet skin that shimmered under the light. Her long limbs were coated in velvet fur, and her eyes glowed a deep gold. Thick braids fell from her mane-like hair, adorned with bones and beads. She wore crude armor fashioned from some unfortunate local creature, and her tail, thick and strong, flicked like an agitated whip. Jonah froze. He growled. Then everything went weird. She leapt at him, sniffed him aggressively, and with shocking speed, bit her own tail, forcing out a whimper. Then she turned, eyes wide, and screamed. "It bit my tail. Don't let it finish mating." Jonah blinked. "Wait it. What's it?" Before he could react, a screech erupted from the far tunnel. Something slithered, massive and slick, its form only half seen in the dark. A sinuous, many-limbed beast with bioluminescent glands pulsing violet red. The thing screeched again, the vibrations crawling down Jonah's spine. The Beastwoman pulled Jonah behind a rock with surprising gentleness for someone who could probably crush him. "You carry no scent of mate," she hissed. "You are not claimed. But you must help me. Kill the Y-Targo before it finishes, before it makes the bite permanent." Why do I feel like I just walked into someone else's alien love triangle? Jonah muttered. Middle. The alien beast, the Y-Targo, was a native apex predator with a grotesque, parasitic mating cycle. The bite was phase 1. If allowed to finish the sequence, it would implant its genetic code into its mate, triggering an irreversible biological transformation. The bitten party would eventually become a hybrid, losing autonomy, and becoming a new Y-Targo host. Jonah learned all this from the Beastwoman, whose name, roughly translated, was Varshuni. She was a warrior of the Shathka, a proud and reclusive matriarchal tribe. The Y-Targo, she explained, had been extinct in this region for decades. Until now. "And you were bitten?" Jonah asked as they took shelter in the crevice. She held up her tail, where faint bite marks glowed with bioluminescence. "It began the rite. But I did not submit. I severed the bond before the venom flowed fully. Still, it hunts to complete the act. And now we have to kill it, or it'll make you some freaky mutant baby mama." Varshuni narrowed her eyes. More or less. It didn't help that the venom already in her system was wreaking havoc. She was heating up, literally, her skin steaming, muscles flexing involuntarily, instincts surging to the surface. The venom, though incomplete, was pushing her into an aggressive, mating frenzied state. She was fighting it, but Jonah could see the strain. "I need a purge herb," she hissed. "It grows above, yellow flower, 7-tipped leaves. You find it. I will draw it away. Wait, you can barely walk. You're twitching like a broken power core. I can fight. You're fast. You find the flower. You bring it back. Or you kill me if I change. Jonah didn't like either option. But he knew what he had to do. He emerged from the cavern and raced into the jungle, his HUD scanning for botanical markers. The terrain was treacherous, grabbing vines, razorgrass, spore clouds, but he powered through, driven by a strange urgency. This wasn't just about helping her. This was personal. Something about the way she looked at him, trusted him without knowing him, rattled his bones in a way war never had. Back in the tunnels, Varshuni roared, her voice echoing through the cave network. She challenged the Wytargo, baited it, slammed rocks to draw its ire. It responded with unnatural shrieks, closing in with predatory glee. Jonah returned just in time. The flower was already being crushed in his palm when he slid into the cavern, flung it toward her. Varshuni shoved it into her mouth and chewed violently, her entire body locking up as the purge took hold. Her golden eyes flickered, and the heat shimmer left her skin. Her tail uncurled. And then the Wytargo burst into view. A great coil of wet, armored flesh, with eyes spaced too widely and a maw that split 4 ways. It lunged, but this time Varshuni was ready. Together they fought. Jonah drew his plasma knife and distracted the beast while Varshuni pounced from the side, claws ripping into its slick hide. The fight was brutal, chaotic. It nearly swallowed Jonah whole, but Varshuni pulled him free by the waist, and he landed on top of her, both panting, bloodied, grinning through exhaustion. "Your smallness is deceptive," she said. "Your everything is terrifying," he replied, breathless. With a final joint assault, her claws in its eye, his plasma knife in its brainstem, they brought it down. The Wytargo gave one last gurgling shriek before collapsing, spasming once, then lying still. Silence returned to the tunnels. Ending. Outside, the sun had shifted, the jungle now drenched in golden light. Jonah sat on a log, checking his gear, while Varshuni cleaned her tail with near-primal grace. "You fought well for a soft-worlder," she said. "Soft-worlder. I'll have you know I'm from Earth, home of caffeine, sarcasm, and recreational violence." She cocked her head. "Earth males are strange. I see now why the elders warned us of your kind." "Oh, and what did they say?" "That Earth males are dangerous, unpredictable, and have a habit of bonding with any creature that doesn't immediately eat them." Jonah laughed. "Well, I did save your life. Twice." She leaned close, eyes glittering. "And I bit your neck during the battle. By Shathka law, that counts." He blinked. "Wait, counts for what?" She purred, a terrifying bone-deep rumble. "You may now be considered my trial mate. Unless you object." Jonah looked at her. Wild, powerful, intelligent, dangerous. And for some insane reason, he didn't object. In fact, he reached out, flicked her tail teasingly, and grinned. "Just don't bite mine." Her eyes narrowed playfully. "No promises, trial mate." Plug. When Jonah's team finally located him 3 days later, he was draped in alien feathers, sipping some fermented jungle drink, and leaning against a tree beside Varshuni. They had built a camp together. They hunted together. They laughed. And according to her tribe's emissaries, who arrived with great interest in this tiny human who slayed a Wytargo and survived Varshuni's bite, they were considered ceremonially entangled. Jonah didn't even ask what that meant. He just smiled. "First recon mission," he told his squad mates, slapping one on the back. "You guys really need to get out more."